Sophie has launched her pet treat business, and she needs our help to decide how to best grow the business, whether to buy a second cooker, move into an industry unit, or outsource the production of the food. And it's quite difficult to advise on this because obviously you need to, the options are quite different and there's quite a big leap between the options. So it'd be interesting to understand what the demand is and what a unit would cost, for instance, if she needed that. However, from my limited understanding of the business, I think that buying a secondary cooker is very temporary. However, moving to an industry unit is complete opposite. In terms of how she explains the business, I can feel that she's very passionate in the production and cooking of the food. But in order to take this business to the next level, I believe she needs to outsource the baking of the product. Because the core of this business is not actually the baking of the food, it's the market penetration. She needs to focus more of her time presenting this to potential buyers to get the attraction and get the business to full capacity.
So having just watched Sophie, again, she's got a really nice problem. Obviously she has growth and she has sales and there's a market available for her doggy treat products. I'm certainly one of those people. My 2 dogs would be very impressed. And so she's now got something really positive to be looking at in terms of her 3 options. The first one was to buy a second cooker and to install that in her parents' home. Now, whilst that option might help her in the short term and it might provide her with the additional capacity that she needs and she might be able to obviously ramp up and increase her production and her productivity, it does have problems for scalability in the future. She's literally just putting off the issue basically for another period of time. And I think she needs to just jump in and decide, is she in it with this business seriously? Does she really want it to grow? And does she want to take it forward and move it to become bigger and better? Or is she going to limit her growth by being that cottage industry business that she spoke about at the beginning of her video case?
She talked a lot about her brand and her ethos and the kind of company she's built up. And it sounds like quality control is really important to her. So for that reason, I wouldn't recommend she outsources because I don't think she'll be able to maintain the control that she needs to develop her brand further. Nor do I think that option A is that good an idea, putting an extra cooker in a parent's home. Sounds great for kind of a short-term solution and probably good value for money in the short term, but it's not very scalable in the future. And it sounds like she's got a really good growing business that does need to be scalable in the future. So for that reason, I'd recommend to Sophie that she moves into an industrial unit. And although the costs might be a bit scary at first, I think it'd be money well spent.
So clearly where she is she's producing them at home, and that's fine for the moment. Where she probably wants to be honest, is in an industrial unit where she can do everything herself, keep controls on it, but it's a big change and it does incur all the issues that she mentioned. For example, the scariness of taking on a lease, the liabilities, and I think a lot of people don't realise that when you do take on premises, it is a very big liability that you will take on personally, even if it's a limited company. So one of our options there might be to look at a licensed unit, and what I mean by that is there are plenty of places that will rent you out on a month-by-month basis a licence to occupy premises, and certainly there are some in and around this area. So that might be something she looks at, but it's quite a big jump. So how to bridge the gap? Firstly, she could look at a second cooker at home, but I suspect the truth is that there's not a lot of space and that she'll simply find that there becomes another barrier to producing more product. So it may be mixing space, storage space, or others. So the second cooker at home is probably a very short-term fix, but not necessarily something that's going to solve the problem in the short to middle term. Outsourcing, I can understand that's going to be a big issue, because with the focus on the quality, the control, it's really important that she's involved in the process to make sure that she maintains the standards. One of the things that outsourcing may bring is some flexibility. i.e. that she carries on producing at home, but if she gets large orders, that she subcontracts the large orders. One of the problems will be finding something that works for her and for the outsourcing partner, because quite often what they're going to demand is quite a high volume of stuff on a very regular basis, and Sophie may not be able to offer that. But it does give her a route if she's got a big show or she's got a lot of orders piled up to be able to produce them on a large scale very quickly. So I think the honest answer is she needs to find a way of getting from where she is to where she wants to be, and I'd probably be looking at an industrial unit but taking it on a licensed basis rather than a full-on lease, which I can understand looks pretty scary from where she is.
I personally would be going with number 2, moving into an industrial unit. I know that it increases her costs, and it means that it may exclude her being able to make some arrangements and agreements with the price-sensitive retailers such as the supermarkets. However, she has to decide she wanted to create initially, by the sounds of it from her case study, a premium product, and a premium product does have a premium price and does have a good price point that people understand. It's organic, it's homemade, it has human grade food in it. So I think she should be true to, again, the same way as I thought about Hannah, she should be true to what she originally created, stick with that idea, and the industrial unit helps her to do that.